welcome back to another episode on the Anarchy podcast. In this video, we will be chatting about the servers within the Anarchy scene. We will be looking at 4 servers in the Anarchy community, and these servers will be everything from the literal old fag-out servers, 2b2t, all the way to young servers with maps not even a year old. But before we get into it, I'd like to say a message from our sponsor, anarchy.bar. Are you looking for a server that doesn't put up with lag machines? A utopian place where new fags roam free and wild? Well, anarchy.bar definitely has you covered. And I mean, finally, right? A server that doesn't put up with lag machines so that you, yes you, can have the best experience you can. The server is run by the one and only Faticus, and he is always on the server, and with this community, it is one of the only Anarchy servers that actually cares about striving to be the best they can always be. With commands like /togglepm, /ignore, /tpa, and more, it's hard not to love it. So what are you doing? Get on 1.12.2 and log on to anarchy.bar. That's anarchy.bar. Links and IP will be in the description. Can't wait to see you on. Now, to get on with this video, we start alphabetically. Funny enough, with the biggest and the cult favorite of the Anarchy servers, 2b2t. This server is obviously the biggest and oldest of the servers I'll be talking about today, lasting for over 9 years of uptime, and holding in some of the most popular people to come to the Minecraft community, some like Venom, and I'm sure more to come. 2b2t is the overall first choice for new players, and the server is moderated by the one and only Housemaster, and many say that 2b is losing its true Anarchy feel because of things like edited out stashes, the queue, exploits, and more. More on that can be found in the description, as I made a video talking about it. On 2b2t is a sort of rite of passage to bully or make fun of the new players, with the old fags not recognizing the new fags as actual players and just fresh meat to toy around with. It can be very unappealing to people who want to join for real. And when it comes to the economy, I already made a video detailing this in its fullest extent in a video named The Political Climate of 2b2t. Again, the link will be in the description. As for the real specifics, the average player count for the server at a time is 865, with 200 players or so at a time on the server, and the other at average is 665 in queue. This number obviously fluctuates throughout the day, but that number was data collected from 4 days of peak hours on the server. The main groups that have monopoly on the server are groups by the name of Vortex Coalition, also known as VOCO, and the Imperium. Some more little tidbits are that elytras are disabled, and for good reason of exploitation, and a final note to 2b is it kicks the people if they are AFK, inactive, or sometimes just for no reason. Now, this is because they need to make the queue move, but it has a very bad impact on the player base and the atmosphere on the server. Mostly because everyone needs to keep in mind that you could be PvPing at any moment and then all of a sudden just get kicked. As for the little fun exploits, 2 dupes are currently up and running for everyone to take a hold of, the Donkey Water dupe and the Vanish Dismount dupe using WWE. Now, I think we have looked at 2b2t for long enough. Let's take a look at the alternatives and some other servers in the Anarchy server community. Continuing this weird alphabetically numeral order of the servers is 9b9t. This server is run by JJ25001, and 9b was made simply because of that invasion that we all know, love, and remember, Russia. In June of 2016, Wired Tombstone, also known as JJ, made 9b and has been owning it ever since. Due to the queue and the invasion of the camping Russia, people quickly moved to other 2b2t clones to seek the same sort of adventure that 2b offers. 9b9t gained a player base fast and secured its spot in the Anarchy server roster with its permanent player count. When researching about the server, I DM'd JJ in hopes that he would answer some questions, and to my surprise, he did. Here's a recording of what I got from the guy. Alright, what dupes are, enabled on the server?
Well, none of them are enabled, if that's what you're...
Or which ones are patched and which ones are currently up for grabs?
Oh, God. So there's probably half a dozen dupes at the moment that are available at any one time. The Donkey dupe, which was the most successful dupe, should be patched at the moment, though there is a workaround for that if you know what you're doing. I can't go on a podcast without mentioning the cactus dupe, can I?
Oh no, you can't do that, man. Especially not the lava dupe.
Yeah, it's simply unpatchable.
Yeah. What kind kind of how does lag affect the server? Is it as bad as 2B or is that as bad as Constantium?
I think that for the most part, our server remains playable, even during peak times, even at high levels of TPS degradation. I think that the server remains more playable on average than the vast majority of servers out there. And my goal has always been playability over perfect TPS. Like, you could have a perfect TPS server and have packet lag and have, you know, sudden jumps or lag spikes in the server saves or whatever have you. So I've always tried to keep it very consistent in how playable it is, not necessarily how great the TPS is or how great any one specific aspect of the server is as far as it's concerned. I want blocks to be mineable, I want blocks to be placeable, I want to be able to move around pretty freely. That's always been my goal. So
is there anything that you were to tell a new fag if they were looking for an alternative server to 2B2T or an anarchy server in general? Is there a reason they would come to yours instead of 2B?
Tighter knit community. The ability to get on pretty much instantly whenever they wanted to. Enough people that it actually feels like you're playing a game with other people as opposed to solo mode. Enough interesting content and creations and history there to basically make it to where you won't run out of stuff to do for a very lengthy period of time. I think those are all things that a player looking for an anarchy server wants, and I think that's what 9B fulfills. 2B has the problem of sitting forever in a queue. And a lot of the newer servers either have manufactured or just don't have the level of playability and history that 9B has as far as content goes. So,
well, I think that'll do it. Thank you very much. Constantiam is what some would say is the best version of 2B2T that isn't actually really 2B. And when you look at the servers side by side, there aren't actually many differences. Constantiam is the second oldest anarchy server to make a decent player base after 2B did, with Constantiam starting off in February of 2016, before the Russia invasion, and averaging nowadays a player count of 88. Again, like the others, this number is based off of 4 days of prime playtime hours within the week. As for the people, Constantiam makes the point for no real teaming, other than some little groups here and there. People just have fun, and many say that it is more of an SMP than a true anarchy server, and that most people respect and just enjoy others' company. And again, every server comes with their fair share of trolls and groups out to get each other, but on Constantiam, they would just crystal you and go about their day. The server is owned by the one and only Phantom Captain, who oversees the server and keeps it in check. Some people say that the real owner is James Russell's, but there's a little bit of conspiracy there. Something that 2B2T and Constantiam have in common is that they both have a big fat problem. With 2B2T, it is obviously the Q and its crippling kicking mechanic, but on Constantiam, it is but the lag. It's weird how bad the lag is, with the server going down often and rollbacks being a constant threat to progress in the overall playing experience. It's something to take into account if you want to be playing as a substitute for 2B, not to mention you don't need to pay $20 to get into the actual server within the hour. Finally, we get to oldfag.org. It may be the last on this list, but it is certainly not least. Why? Well, because it has some of the things that 2B2T and other servers don't. Like elytras aren't disabled, dupes are patched because of the owner and client developer John 2010 has made plugins and coded many of the server's issues out. As for the age of the server, it is actually the youngest ones on this list, with oldfag technically starting off on February 4th of 2017. The current map isn't the first map on the server. Since the whole operation went down for a couple of years, the current map is only a month or so, a little over that. But people have still been able to do some damage to spawn, and hopefully in a few months, maybe to years, the player base will make it into a real anarchy server that has all the quirks and toxicity that something like 2B has. The average player count is actually a tricky question to answer, since the YouTuber Salcy1 made a video on the alternative servers apart from 2B. And since that video, this little community has grown from about 15 to 30 players online at one time, all the way over to over 120 at the time of this recording. As for the administration, John doesn't do very much to police the server. He doesn't interfere with many things other than dupes and such. It is obvious that his style is a sort of hands-off laissez-faire style of ownership, with John standing back and letting the player base make the server themselves. Their economy is pretty tame, with dupes barely scratching the stability of the item circulation. Some of the main teams on the server go by the name of either Exodus or Phoenix. Some more little tidbits are that they have a long/help with many commands to help and overall make your experience better. In conclusion, those are some of the servers that are in the Anarchy server roster as of 2019, and some that many people seek refuge in. They all have certain differences between them, and I hope all the newcomers to Anarchy will see this video as an opportunity to start a new journey on these platforms. Now, I'll leave you with that. I'm Super with the Anarchy Podcast. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!